Hi, Greg.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Not too bad. Guess what we're doing tonight?
Oh, is it a good beer?
It's your favorite beer of all time?
Ooh, Double Tempest?
No.
Uh,
The other favorite
reg,
beer of all
reg.
time. Not 10 Better Years
Oh,
either.
I know which one. I just happen to have one. Molson Canadian.
Molson. Ooh, you get the Stanley Cup batch, the one that was like
I believe
had
this
the
is the
metal
official beer of the
dumped in it.
Ottawa Convoy.
Oh, God. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
come
yay.
on.
So,
Jesus.
bring myself back over. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to
Hi,
Beer
Nick.
Analysis 101, a reanalysis episode featuring, of course, everybody's favorite Canadian lager to shit on. We got Molson Canadian Lager. Yay! From John Molson. Still got his signature on it, even though he's been dead for like 150 years. 5% ABV. Everybody loves this beer. We originally looked at this beer way back in April of 2018. I can bring up the graphic, the high quality graphic that I made up for this special episode. And we can talk about what we thought of it last time. So, I mean, Molson, who hasn't heard of Molson if you're into beer? Maybe somebody who just drinks exclusively craft beer. You don't give a shit about anybody else and living under a rock or something. But, I mean, Molson's been around since 1786 and it's one of the oldest breweries. It's the oldest brewery in North America, still in operation. So, set up shop May 12th, 1782 or something like that. Oh, no, that's when John Molson, I shouldn't read the history, but it's when John Molson moved to Canada, and 4 years later he started the brewery, which still bears his name. So let's talk about when we looked at it the last time. In attendance, we had Matt of Massive Beer Reviews. We had Chris Lezak of Off the 10th. Now he's he was on the 10th back then, I think. Now he's off the 10th. He's been off the 10th for like 4 years now. Chris and Greg was here. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Nick.
And we had Ash here too. Hi, Ash. Yay. All right. So didn't really get our very high marks. As you can see, the overall score was 4.5 for style, 2.4 overall enjoyment. And we have some quotes from the last time, and we'll have some fun reading them because maybe they're accurate. Maybe they still are accurate. Who knows? The Stanley Cup batch might be a bit more of a winner. This is to Canadian beer what Justin Bieber is to Canadian music. Ashley Sexton, 2018. Massive Beer Reviews said it's corn beer. Corn and rice and water has more to do with low grade sake than it has to do with beer. 3 out of 10 for the style of a low grade sake. Anyway, and I said I'll probably finish drinking this and it'll be a long time before I drink this again, which, spoiler alert, this is it's been a long time because I haven't had it since. All right, so stop sharing and let's introduce who we have with us on the panel tonight, which starting with Redbeard. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad.
All right, I got to point out my can does not have the signature of John Molson that you're making fun of. But did we not have a can of Alexander Keith's last week? Did it not have his signature on the can as well? If I'm not mistaken,
he signs every can individually.
Yeah, so that's
From
just
beyond the grave.
Yeah, okay,
all right.
But yeah,
Mine
excited
does also not have.
Good times with Canadian. Yay!
So where Redbeard wasn't here the last time we did this. I should ask you, what's your history with Molson Canadian? Do you even have one?
I've never reviewed it on my channel, but I've had it like when I was young, 17, 18, first term 19 kind of thing. Go to parties and shit, and there'd be that beer all over the place, and have some that Bud, Coors Light, Blue, whatever the macro crap is around. And it's been a long while since I've had it. Between the last time and now, I couldn't even tell you how long. Probably at least minimum 10 years. But yeah. Excited to be here.
Are you sure?
You know it. You know it. Love you guys.
All right. Thanks for taking one for the team, Redbeard. All right,
man.
All right, so next up we have with us, we have Mr. Ashley Sexton, Sexton Brewing Co.
God.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. I had a day off, but it was like I was joking with my neighbor. It was like more. I did more work today on my day off than I do at work when I get it paid. So I really should have just gone to work today because it would have been a hell of a lot easier than what today was like. So,
Oh,
anyways, it's nice to be here. I went out finally after my like 21,000 step day or whatever the shit I did. So, yeah, happy to be here. This is probably. Since the last review, probably the first time I've had this again. The only exception maybe if I was out at like a county fair or something like that, where the only thing on tap was a Canadian and I just accidentally drank one, or at like a ball game or something like that. But I mean, other than that, I haven't purchased this. And I actually, if you can believe it, I actually bought a 12-pack of this today. So
Oh, wow.
I know.
Brave.
Why? Because why
Okay.
not? I'm not buying a lot of beer
Didn't
now.
expect that of you.
I know, right? Whatever.
I don't buy a lot of beer now, so I'm going to buy a 12-pack of shitty mackerel.
I bought a 12-pack of this because I knew like I had a busy day today and I'm gonna have a busy weekend, so they would go through.
I need a surplus of lawnmower beers.
Exactly. So,
Nice.
anyways, nice to be here. Glad to see everybody. So, cheers.
Awesome. Thank you, Ash. Alrighty, next up we've got Mr. Lee Russell, iPad and Vibe. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Nick?
Not too bad, actually.
Yeah.
Just finished a ride tonight, and I'm not super tired, but I'm a little worn out.
Way more than I need to know.
Yeah, I know. All right, so since you weren't here the first time we looked at Molson Canadian, what's your history with this beer?
And I don't see how anyone who knows and understands all the facts can condone the use of alcohol.
In my church, they don't say the use of alcohol is wrong in itself.
Yeah, so I go with bitch number 2 there, and I've had this before, of course, plenty of times. Too many, probably. Not a beer of choice at all, ever. Not one I've ever enjoyed really all that much. I did look when I did do a review of this on my channel way back when, and it was back in 2008. And yeah, I gave it like a bare pass back then. So we'll see what I think of it this time out.
Back when your palate was still baby kind of shit, and you're giving a lot of like anything a pass as long as it didn't make you puke.
I mean, you know.
All right. Cool. All right. Thank you, Mr. Lee. And let's move over to everybody's favorite Greg, who's sick
hello.
with COVID.
I'm sick with COVID, but don't worry, Nick. I'm tasting this Molson Canadian. It's delicious.
Looks like it.
Dark.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with this Molson Canadian. 10 out of 10.
I think it's light struck a little bit there.
It's a little
No,
hot
I just
sometimes.
no. What I did is I just reversed engineered it up from the sewers instead of down from the sewers.
Oh, nice.
You Kuvi'd it with some.
So actually, I will
slightly
say,
oxidized.
so I will say, yes, I do have COVID. I'm working on kicking its ass. See, first it tried to hump me, and then now I'm humping it, but it's still humping me a little bit. So I'm kicking its ass, but not as quickly as I'd like. I will say, because I feel like I have a bit of a end of a cold right now, my taste is not 100%. I mean, let's be honest, my taste is never 100%. So I mean, you take whatever my regular taste is, and it's even worse now. So what I'm doing to scare myself and all of you is I'm actually letting my Canadian warm up. I have it out on the counter, and I'm hoping it gets a few degrees warmer so I can actually taste it and all its goodness properly. Because right now I'm drinking this beer, and this beer is colder, and it's I'm not getting quite all the flavor I normally would out of it. So
What is that beer?
it's a GLB Blackjack. It's just a black lager.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy, but I do tell that my taste is a little affected, so I'm gonna try to let this beer warm up as much as possible because I want to be fair to Canadian. I don't want to sell it short because Nick's gonna make you wait another 4 years before we can do this beer again.
God. Now I think the plan with reanalysis is it's the last time we're ever going to look at this shit.
No, you gotta have a
Unless
new
something
series
really
like
deserves it, you know.
Final Anal.
And like Molson Canadian's not, doesn't it? So did you say like when the last time you had this was? Like if you had it since the last...
Probably, I can't imagine I've had any reason to have it since our last beer review. Like this would be a beer that like I'd be hard pressed even if like I had a wedding and it was between this and Coors Light. I'd probably take the Coors Light and just drink more of them to compensate. I can't see any reason I would have drank this beer unless somebody spiked one of my good beers with it or something. Somebody gave me a Molson Canadian roofie.
Nice. Oh God. Alrighty. Cool. All right. Thank you, Greg. So we'll circle back. Let's come back to me. I'm viewer right now. So if there's somebody actually watching and it's not one of us checking for comments, which there aren't any, let us know what you're drinking, what you think. I agree, it's not the most exciting beer tonight, but hey, it's fodder for an episode. My history with this thing here, back in, honestly, it's the same story as Greg. There hasn't really been any reason for me to go back and have a Molson Canadian, rather than ever since the last time when we did the original Beer Analysis 101 on April 11, 2018. Just because, like, if you go to a bar where there's all kinds of different macro lagers to choose from, that's not exactly something I do very often. And if there's others to choose from, this isn't really the first one I would go to. I mean, way back in my youth, this is one that I used to like drinking because I kind of like that fruity taste. It would be either this or Budweiser, but like how it has grown considerably, like almost like the Grinch's heart, like 6 times that day ever since then. Enlarged heart problems, though. You should probably have that checked.
We had to have my
But yeah,
dog.
there's other options. Like there's a Moosehead or even a Coors Light sitting next to it on tap. I'm gonna go with that rather than this. Whether or not that my opinion of that has changed, I don't know. But yeah, like I haven't had any reason to try this since, and I'm also, as been asked, I'm not doing too bad tonight. So we do have one comment, and I might as well just talk about it now because I kind of want to share this. Everybody's favorite Jamie and Radar are currently at a bar having a drink.
Aw, isn't that nice?
Oh, it's awesome.
They should get Molson Canadian and live stream from the bar.
I will say that I'm very envious. I'm sorry to talk over you, Nick.
Well, go ahead, Ash.
I'm very envious of his mustache.
I think everybody is.
It's a very strong mustache.
I feel like Ashley, you've got some mustache game yourself. You could.
Yeah, no, he has the Tom Selleck full upper lip mustache.
He does
You know
have
what I
kind
mean?
of the bigger
Yes.
upper lip area, I guess you'd almost say.
Yes, it is the full upper lip, but the mustache fills that full upper lip. So it's like that. My face can't support that.
I remember
So
there's
I would never.
Yeah.
Can't support.
There's an actor, I can't think of him, but he has like just like almost double Jamie's size of just the most massive upper lip in the world. I can't think of his name though.
Joe
There's a
Montana.
reason. There's a reason why women's vaginas explode at the mere sight of Jamie.
It's almost like Jamie's got more real estate under his nose and above his upper lip that it makes the mustache look bigger and more impressive. Because if I just shave this off, I look like I got a creeper stash.
Yeah.
Nick, thank you for just reiterating what me and Ashley were saying.
That's why I have to have these
Fantastic.
both in conjunction.
Nick will have to
otherwise
stay 1,000 yards
pussies
away
dry
from
up
any school.
everywhere. All right. So we'll take that out of there. Let us know what you're drinking. Jamie and Radar, if you're watching from the bar, let us know what you're drinking.
Hopefully it's Molson Canadian.
All right.
Or
It's milkshakes. They're having milkshakes.
which is bringing all the boys.
Hey, I have a fucking friend that when we go out to a bar, he orders chocolate milk.
He should be shot and killed.
I actually should. The funny thing is, the amount of times they brought him rotten chocolate milk because they're like, yeah, we had this in the back of the fridge. We don't know how old it is. Try it out. It's like I'd say 50-50. It's always gone bad because
Jesus.
Doesn't every milk carton in the world have a very, very visible best before date? Like, maybe check that. If it's like beyond like a couple days after, maybe don't serve it.
I think they're so annoyed that somebody's ordered chocolate milk and they have to dig it out of the back of the fridge. They don't give a fuck.
That's fair enough. Quite often, if I go somewhere for breakfast or something, like a breakfast place, I'll get a glass of chocolate milk or something. And generally, I'm in a place where they serve enough chocolate milk that that's not an issue.
I would
Going
say
to a
chocolate milk's
bar,
a lot more acceptable at a breakfast place than
yeah,
it is
just
in
going to a
bar.
bar. Yeah, that
They're
is very
adults.
weird. Very weird.
Is anyone else just drinking this out of the bottle? Or do you guys all pour
I've
it?
got a can. I think
I
everyone
don't
else
have
has
a bottle.
can.
So.
Drink it right out of the bottle.
Just drink it right out of the
Honestly, I
bottle.
don't think it really adds much. There's hardly any smell to this shit.
No, like this is like a can, this is like the vessel it arrived in drinker.
This is like more expensive no-name beer.
Basically, I mean, actually, I kind of think I'd rather have the no-name beer from Superstore or something in Ontario more than this Doug Ford's no-name beer.
I've had them. Have you had that beer?
I don't think I've had it. I probably have had it.
I've had it a few times now, and it's this beer. I feel like I don't know.
Well, this isn't hard to like. Well, I mean, to make this beer en masse
Mine's
is
gone.
a science.
Good stuff. Not bad. Meh.
It's a science. It's not an art. This is when it just turns from, something creative and artistic to just, pumping something out of a machine, which is all that this is.
This is if AI made a beer for the people. Molson Canadian.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not like any. Yeah, it's anyways.
Yeah. It's all right. I didn't let mine warm up, so I don't know, but that went down smooth. That went down nice. Like hot summer day on a patio. I could easily crush a few of those.
No, maybe no.
I have a
It
message
smells getting
for.
better as it warms.
Yeah, it sure does. I have a message for all the kids out there who are watching right now.
If you want to be one of the gang, you've got to act like one of the gang. You don't want people to think you're a square, do you?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so do what we're doing. Look how cool we are right now.
I want to be in a
Molson Canadian.
rectangle.
Molson Canadian online and just trying to bide
What do you
time
like?
until there's more comments to read. We
watch
might as
Uma
well
Thurman.
just. Are we ready? Are we ready to just finish this off?
Yeah, let's put a shotgun to its head and
All right.
get on with it.
Put it at the pasture like old Yeller. All right, let's return to Redbeard, who I'm sure is going to give us the highest ratings of the night.
I don't know.
Goes downhill from here.
It's a macro lager. It tastes like most other macro lagers, more or less, that I've had. It's not good. Like it's decent. I have no problem with it. Again, like I just said, I could easily crush a few of them on a hot summer day on the beach or a patio or something like that. But it's not something I'm ever going to seek out again, kind of thing. If someone offers me one at a party or some shit, yeah, I'll have one. Why not? For being a macro lager, I'll give it a 7 for style and enjoyment. 5. It's decent.
You are crazy.
Meh.
Wow. I think I'll be right.
I don't know.
All right.
It is what it
We'll
is.
start calling you Chris Lezak from now on.
All right. Fair enough.
Alrighty, so let's thank you, Mr. Redbeard. Let's go over to Ashley wearing
Trudeau.
the perfect Expo shirt. For,
Right? I love wearing this.
drinking Molson.
I love this jersey. So
That's an
my
awesome
mom
shirt,
bought this
actually.
jersey for me, like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago. I like rocking it. I love the Expos. I grew up in Montreal a little bit, so
Yeah.
I've been to the Big O. Shitty
O.
stadium. Worst stadium ever.
No.
Anyways.
Oh, I thought he meant he brought a woman to climax.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's so bad.
What?
The Big O.
Alrighty, so
Anyways, moving on.
what you think?
It's a shitty beer. I mean, it's a shitty macro lager. It's nothing to really write home about. But it's a time and place beer. You know what I mean? So for me, like, it's not a beer I'll probably even buy again, probably for the next few years, unless we revisit this again. But just sort of how today lined up for me, it was like the perfect time and place beer. I had a freaking shit busy day. I was like out in the sun, had shit like running all over town. I mean, I wasn't drinking while I was running around town. Obviously, that's not the point I was trying to make. But
If you were
yeah.
actually running around town, that'd be okay.
But I had a busy day. I was out doing lawn work. Had a shit ton of shitty family news. And this was just a great beer to sort of finish it all off because it's like refreshing, sort of. I'm drinking it pretty damn cold, so I know it's like really adjunct laden. It's like super heavy on the corn. I'm like right now super cold. It's coming out pretty dry for me, which is nice. So I'm getting like a little bit of bitterness to it. But it just drinks like sort of like dirty, dry, slightly sweet, like pond water beer. But for today, it's just perfect. It is what it is. I'm just plowing through this 12-pack like no one's business.
Oh, shit.
So,
Lagerfish has a 12-pack.
Right there we go, Lagerfish. But I mean, but for what it is, you can get a better lager even from like your medium sized craft guy, like your Muskoka or your Waterloo. Like you can pick up their craft lager, pay a little bit more of a premium, and get a better product than this, right? So, but hey, I can get why people will buy a 24 of these after working 50 hours Monday through Friday, and they're chilling out all weekend and just going to slam some beers and watch some sports. So whatever. For the style, I think last time I gave it a 5. I think for style, for like a macro lager. So I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, Mark. I mean, it's a shitty macro lager, and for a lager, it's on the shittier end. So it's like 5. It's a bare pass. And personal preference. I mean, today it's better than the one I gave it last time. I'll give it a 3. It's doing better today, but just marginally. Nice. So there we go.
All right.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers, Mr. Ash. All right. Let's move on to Mr. Lee.
The chances of being an alcoholic, don't worry me. Some people can drink and some can't. You can't blame it all on alcohol.
Yeah, I could blame it. I could blame it on Molson though. This is just this is like the fucking White Claw of beers, man. It's just fucking. There's nothing going on. It might. I can see why. So Ashley's right. I can see why people can not only like have a hard work week and like have like a 2-4 at the end of the week and go through it, or some people are just raging alcoholics and have a 2-4 every fucking day of this shit because it's so fucking pathetically easy to put down. It's like substandard even for just bottom of the barrel macro lagers that don't actively taste horrible. They like there's nothing about this beer where it's like, oh, that's so off-putting and shitty tasting. It's like, no, it tastes like nothing pretty much. It's like weaker than fucking Coors Light. It's just crap. I'm gonna go. I mean, I've just had so many good actual lagers as of late, like the fucking abundance of craft pilsners and stuff that have popped up lately and shit that are just show you what lagers can actually taste like. And when you gotta like vaguely sort of compare those to this in some sort of homogenous style overall, it's like it's so night and day. Like this is just absolute fucking piss. So this stuff can fuck off. I'm giving it 2s across the board.
All right.
I hate you for making me review this again.
You liked it. Well, maybe not the beer, but all right. Well said, Mr. Lee. Let's go over to Greg and see how Greg's taking it with COVID. And
you know what?
At the same time.
Regardless of how I review this beer, man, the way Lee is just very good at just verbalizing what I'm thinking sometimes. So I'm giving this beer every benefit of the doubt. First of all, it's in a proper Molson Canadian glass that my wife got when she worked for Molson back in the day. You know, it's nice and warm, so there's nowhere for the flavor to hide. A little bit ahead, so a little bit ahead, so I get the bouquet. Wow.
You don't need a bouquet on this.
You're
one,
like,
man.
"Wah!" Every time you smell it.
Oh yeah, there's
I can't smell much right now, but what I do smell, is
or I can
toilet
smell
water.
corn. So let's have a taste. I have not tasted this beer yet tonight.
Jesus.
I'm not getting the full effect of it, unfortunately, but what I can taste is wet cardboard. Overly sweet, but not as sweet as I'd normally typically get it. And I think that's where my taste is not kicking in because I'm not picking up as much sweetness. But now, again, if you drank this freezer cold, I'm sure it'd be more acceptable. But as this is now, so a macro lager, it aims to be basically, to me, a perfect macro lager. Never gonna be flavorful because that's just not what a macro lager aims to do. It aims to be a beer that you just drink down, not offensive, perfect after cutting the grass, and you want to drink 2 of them. You want to drink 4 of them. You want to drink a 12-pack because you're an alcoholic. Nothing wrong with that. This is not that. Even with not being able to taste it as much as I am, I taste too much of it, and none of it's good. Oh, it's like that time you licked grandma.
Okay.
I just felt that was an apt comparison.
Yikes.
And age restricted.
Nice. I thought they just did that as soon as I showed up on the show.
Well, once there's alcohol involved, obviously.
So,
Yeah. There's 0 viewers we got right now because we're age restricted.
so I mean, the thing is, this just isn't good. Like, I think it was something like Coors Light, which is usually a good comparison because usually if you can get one, you can get the other. Coors Light is not good either, but it sort of hits that I can knock this back. It's cold, and as long as I don't let it warm up, I can kind of drink a bunch of them and forget about it. It still doesn't taste good, but it's not as in your face. Whereas this one's in your face. Like this one, I just can't enjoy it. Like, yeah, and I want to give this beer the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to shit on it just for the sake of it, because hey, I am Canadian too, right? But fuck this. This needs to go to another country. We need to deport this fucking Canadian along with all the other Freedom Convoy people.
To be honest, it probably is just relabeled as something else down in the States. It's just some regional.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yes, I mean, I don't know what else. I can't pull out any more flavor notes. Not that I could. I'd maybe pull out 3 on a normal day. Today I can pull out 1, so not doing that well. Anyway, wet cardboard, overly sweet, corn chips, some sort of chemical flavor that I can't quite put my finger on. Even as a macro beer, it's a really bad macro beer. To me, this is the macro beer that every macro beer is judged against, because if you're better than Molson Canadian, at least you've accomplished something. It's a 1 out of 10 for style. I honestly can't think of a worse macro beer out there, and I'm not shitting on it. I legitimately cannot think of any macro beer I've had that's worse than this. Most of them are at least passable.
Big flats.
This is not even close.
Oh,
I'm not sure if I've had that or not. That's not true. Like some of the shit, like
Budweiser is worse than this. Budweiser.
No, I prefer Budweiser to this.
Budweiser's pretty fucking gross.
Budweiser's fucking disgusting.
I prefer. I don't. It's not a good beer, but I prefer Budweiser to this. No, okay. So I will say some of that shit, like Crest 10% and Fax 10%. That stuff's not as good, but at least that stuff's 10. At least that stuff's 10%.
It serves a different purpose.
Yeah, that stuff that you're shotgunning it under a bridge, like a hole.
Yeah.
Like a hole.
Yeah, you have bigger problems.
I will say yes, there are worse beers than this, but as far as a 5%, not disgusting alcoholic lager, this is pretty bad. Personal preference, 1. If Nick makes me drink this again in 4 years, I'll drink it. But honestly, I have no desire to ever drink this beer again, other than to just torture myself and make you guys watch, or you guys watch me and point at me and laugh at me. Sorry, who's trying to talk?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Ashley.
No, it's bad. Like, okay, when was the last time everyone had Coors Light?
It hasn't been too long ago, honestly.
Yeah,
Not that long.
I have it on a fairly regular basis because my wife orders it and then doesn't drink it all, so I have to finish it for her.
Is Coors Light as bad as this? Or is
No,
it
I
better?
think Coors
Better.
Light, again, Coors Light is not great beer. I think it's like if I were to rate Coors Light off the top of my head, it would be probably like a 5-5, like a 5.
Really,
5
eh?
for style, 5 for enjoyment. So it's vastly superior to this, even though it's not a good beer. Yeah, so this is a 1-1 for me. I just can't like I said, I gave it 3 and 3 last time, and I kicked myself because I was like, no, I overrated that beer. It's no way this beer's a 3. Because 3 to me is the borderline of something it's kind of gross, but I can kind of drink it, and this is just no thanks.
All right.
Fair enough.
Greg has spoken.
Again, you put a 0 from my numbers, it's a 10 out of 10 on both. So
There you go.
decide.
All right. So my turn. Yay. Thank you, Greg, by the way. So what do I think? You know me, I have to write everything down just because unlike Ashley, I can't just call up the flavor notes and as soon as on the spot, like I don't remember that shit that far.
Yeah, make some excuses.
Yep. Anyway, so the aroma was kind of like floral, sweet, dry, Rice Krispie kind of smell, a touch of yeast. Overall, the flavor was meh. It's watery, bready, cardboardy, Rice Krispie yeast with a little bit of yeast to it. Floral, fruity sweetness. Sweetness is almost kind of like a chalky candy, like sweetness, not like overpowering, like tart, like sweet tarts, but it's kind of like that chalky candy, like
I know what you're talking about.
The neck bracelets, you know, with the little candies on it.
I thought you were going to say
kind of like a little sweet.
I thought you were going to say Popeye cigarettes.
Oh yeah, no, that's accurate. Yeah, this shit is swill for a sports game. There's definitely better beers out there, but I mean, if it's all there is, or one of the main choices you get at like a Jay's game or your local junior league or whatever you want or ball game, then it's fine. Goes down easy on a summer day, but I can't help thinking this when I'm drinking this about Ashley from his first outing on this beer, talking about his barf comment, because this really does remind me of someone else's backwash beer and you're drinking it by mistake. Like this tastes literally tastes like the kind of beer that somebody else left behind and you accidentally grab it and drink it and like, oh, this tastes like somebody backwashed or barfed into this cup. It's like that mistake beer. This deserves to be drank from either the bottle or the red solo cup. This glass is too good for it. And I'm not trying to shit on the beer too much. I just find that there's so much better options out there. It's pretty sad when you're saying Coors Light is a better option. Like this doesn't hold a candle to a beer like Moosehead or even Moosehead Light. That said, I mean, I'm gonna normalize like my ratings. My ratings are very similar to the last time, but I do feel it's not so much I feel like the beer's improved. It's just I feel like for a macro lager or a logic lager, you're rating this as it's not a fail. Like I gave it 5.5 last time. This time I'm gonna give it a 6. And this time for overall enjoyment, you know, it is wet in the whistle and it is going down smooth. And when it's cold, it's not terrible. It is terrible, but it's not that terrible. So I'm gonna say give it a 3.5. Just because, but I mean, dude, this would be one of the last beers I would pick up if I were at a ball game or any place, a bar that had macro only on tap. I mean, there's got to be something else. I think this beer is one that's got great marketing, and they probably turned their fortunes around by doing all that "I am Canadian" bullshit, where or getting us a deal with the NHL to have a Stanley Cup batch or have team labels on all the bottles and stuff. I mean, you might buy it just for that, and that's it. But there's really nothing redeeming behind the swill that goes into the can, and that's my opinion.
It's Duff beer is what it is. It's
not
basically
wrong.
Canadian Duff beer.
It's pretty accurate. Like you ever thought Duff tasted like in the cartoons?
Ever tried Doofenbrow?
So
You know what the
Marge,
sad part is? I'm drinking one of these Molson Canadian cold shots out of the can, and it's sad to say this is a better beer
oh come
because
on,
of the added sugar fortification to it.
oh
At
my
least this one's
god,
got
Nick,
a sweeter,
come on.
fruitier taste.
Jesus Christ, man, you're an animal. So this beer is slightly worse than Coors Light, yet slightly better than
Molson
Budweiser.
Coovey.
I'd agree with that.
And
I would
that
agree
is
with that.
sort
Like,
of
last
where
time
it
I had Gold
lives
Budweiser, it was
in
bad.
the ethos of shit beer nomicron.
Yeah, and I you know, I
Shit, beer Nomicron.
I put like Corona and Soul and shit like that down there.
Below.
Budweiser too, a little bit
Oh,
below.
that
yeah.
shit's worse, man.
Oh,
Like fucking
Corona's
Corona.
terrible. I didn't mind Soul the last time I had it.
Come on,
No.
it's the same shit, man. It's just a different label, man. It's the
It's
same
like Dos
garbage.
Equis.
It's nasty. It's just nasty.
Oh, Dos Equis
Shit,
is
nasty.
far
Well,
above.
yes, Dos Equis is far better, and I would
But
I would place
at least
Dos
agree
Equis
you're
above
to have
Canadian
a
and
bar.
above. Who's like,
Can you at least agree that if you had a bar that had a bunch of macros on tap and you had a Moosehead as an option,
Oh, I'd do
You
Moosehead
said-
before
I would
this.
have Moosehead before this. Yes.
guess
Yeah,
we
Moosehead
can-
is a lot is pretty decent for like a macro. Like it's almost on the point where it's like the macro that like it went to the same high school, but it became a lawyer where everyone else is drinking facts 10% under a bridge.
Well, Moosehead's got that sort of it's like a regional macro, like a Yingling or something like that, right?
I
Where
was
it's-
just going to say Youngling. I would have
Yeah.
that over
Here's
Moosehead.
a regional
because I
macro
get that
for
over
Yingling,
here.
Yingling is actually pretty tasty.
That is tasty.
Yeah.
My in-laws used to get that when they would go to the filthy states.
Yeah.
But they're going-
with Moosehead, there's a different kind of oversight. There's a different market share. They don't have to dumb their beer down as much as say a Molson does to sell to a couple million people every day or whatever the fuck.
See,
right?
the thing I don't understand about Canadian, and again, I honestly do think that with this beer, there's maybe some flavor notes I pick out that other people don't, just because I seem to be extra sensitive to this beer, which is why I hate it so much. But what I don't understand about this beer is that it's not a flavor. If this was flavorless water, I'd be very happy with it. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10 because that's what it would be meant to do. It's not. It actively wants to cause harm to your taste buds. And that's what I don't understand about it. Like, when I think about something that's like water, like Coors Light's pretty close to water. It's got a little bit of it's a little bit offensive, but for the
Not
most part, it's
cardboard
watery.
water.
Like Moosehead's fairly watery. Like, but again, that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to kind of go down easy. This is not that. At least for me, this is something that I have trouble drinking, and I shouldn't have trouble drinking it longer.
Mhm.
Well,
Wow.
it has that bitterness to it.
That
I get that there's a sweetness to it, and I get that. But there is a dirtiness to this beer
Yeah.
that exists,
There's-
and maybe that's what Greg's speaking for.
Like I feel you spilled
the
beer onto
carbonation.
you spilled beer onto a cardboard box, and you're just sucking it out of the cardboard.
You're like some degenerate hobo below a bridge, just looking for one last drink, and some teenager throws his can of
And you
Molson
ran out
over
of
there.
Fax 10, you can shotgun.
I don't find this to be as cardboardy as Coors Light. Coors Light to me is
this-
the quintessential cardboard beer.
I think
That
that
is
is more cardboard. This
cardboard
is
water
not
for
terrible in the cardboard department. It's just so full of fucking rice. But I almost like I'm trying to remember my recollection of this beer way back, 20 years ago when I was buying a 12-pack or something to drink at parties or whenever, like, parents had gone for the weekend and all get drunk. Anyway, back when I was still hiding it from them. But it's just kind of like, like I remembered this beer being better. Like it was a little heavier. It was a little more filling. It was a little the flavorful. Like it's just so weak now. Like, did they change it in just 20 years, or it's just?
Oh, they've most likely changed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyways,
since we don't have Jamie or Jeff or Radar watching right now,
Jeff.
we don't have
Jeff.
anybody ask the magic questions. So I guess there's no episode next week.
Oh,
Wah,
good.
wah.
Actually, I'm kidding. So we might as well.
Next week, Nick.
So
you,
far, we're gonna actually do another BA 1-on-1 next week, and we'll do everybody's favorite series of beers done on this channel. Collective Arts has done another
Oh, it's a milkshake
numbered
IPA.
series. It's a milkshake IPA, guava mango,
Gross.
Zaka, Eldorado, and Equinox cryo hops.
God damn it! I didn't know it was a fucking milkshake IPA. Fuck.
Did you buy it already?
No, but I told you I'd look for it, so now I committed.
It's gonna be
Sure.
fine. What's
What
wrong?
have you committed?
If I can find a milkshake IPA,
I mean, Ashley, you drank Molson Canadian, so like next week's gonna be it's gonna go up from here.
I don't know. You know,
As long
whatever
as,
you pick up,
as long as it's not
something
that
new.
fucking pina colada thing from Bellwoods, because that possibly was actually worse than Molson
What?
Canadian.
It actually, okay, usually they say, like milkshake IPAs will say they got lactose, right? The ingredients list on this says wheat, barley, oats, and milk. Like
Oh
straight up
no!
fucking milk.
no,
Oh,
no,
no.
That's just a typo.
Collective
That's a typo.
Arts is really weird and dumb with their ingredients list.
Yeah, don't worry about that. It's just milk sugars. Don't worry about it.
That's got to be what it is.
Fresh,
They can't just put
unpasteurized directly from the udder into the
Yeah,
drink.
yeah. They just squeeze it right out of the teeth,
They just go
right into the.
right into the
Yeah, we
Yeah,
milk a
imagine that
live
roast
cow
dog.
right in front of you before we sell you the can.
They put a grate. If the fermenting tank is big enough, they were able to put a tunnel through it. The cow walks through on the grate. Everything from the
if
cow.
the cow accidentally shits into the
Yeah,
fermenter,
everything.
That's
Everything
some
goes
wild
in.
fermentation right there.
That and the cow shit is used. It's processed and becomes eventually the ink they use to do their new can art for their new can that comes in.
There you go.
Well,
There
that's
you go.
just savage. Okay, you
Collective
fucking
Collective Arts is reducing, reusing, recycling. Kapu.
reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover.
Collective Arts. We've never farted a fart we haven't enjoyed smelling.
Wow.
Oh god. All right. So I think we're done here. Short episode tonight. But I know we didn't enjoy this beer either. All right, so tune in next week when we do Collective Arts IPA number 21.
Collective
I want
Arts
to thank
milk.
everybody who didn't watch tonight. Jamie, we love you.
Did we get a final score?
Oh right, you know what? I didn't.
Wow.
Fuck, that means we have to
Thank-
watch
thank
more of
God
this crap.
Lee is on
All
the
right, let
ball.
me do
This is a game.
Did you
called
not do the math yet?
it was totally no, I didn't do the math yet.
Oh my god!
Greg's the one
this is
sick, and I'm like,
outstanding.
holy fuck, how am I fucking up that hard?
I need more beer for this.
Yeah, I need more beer. Plus,
Ashley needs
No,
another Molson
you,
Canadian.
you don't get more beer, Nick. You have to do some fucking work, motherfucker. Like compute,
This is what happens when Nick is pounding back cold shots.
right? He's like straight Welland style right here.
all right.
He's like, oh, I gotta get my cold shots.
Do the
Gotta
math on
get-
one. That means I can have another cold shot.
to fucking
Uh,
do
Actually,
my,
while we're waiting, one of the houses my mom's currently looking at is in Welland, so my mom might end up being your neighbor. Wouldn't that be crazy?
is it one of the new developments that they're doing on on the Welland River?
I mean, it's already built, so it's not a new
Oh.
development, but I believe
Oh,
it's
okay.
a fairly new development.
Because they're building a whole bunch of retirement. Like Welland is going to become the new retirement city in
Yeah,
Niagara.
apparently it's very close to the Welland River, which I don't know how
Yep.
Welland looks like. Maybe every house is close to the river,
Yeah.
and it is a
They-
fairly new development. Like there's no fence around it yet. Like it has had one owner in it so far, and they're selling. So
Oh,
like
okay.
if we end up buying it again, my mom's just going to look at it. So who knows?
Yeah.
But if we ended up buying it, we'd have to put the fence around because no one's done it yet, and with my mom's dog Layla, would have to have a fence for her. So
Yeah, but yeah,
But-
they're actually starting to do a lot of building in Welland around the waterfronts and stuff like that. So like there's going to be a lot of development.
Well, I will say, I mean, well, it's not by any means cheap. I'll say the real estate in Niagara is a lot more reasonable than
Is it? Niagara's cheaper
Toronto,
than Welland.
Mississauga, GTA.
Oh yes, by far. Yeah, if
Our
if
next
there's
door
a
neigh-
direction to go.
So our next door neighbor, we just found out they were selling their house a few days ago, and they just sold it for $2 million. And I to be honest, I think they took a low offer, but they didn't want to go into a bidding war. They basically had a bully offer. It wasn't even on the market, and $2 million.
Here's your rating.
There
It's
we
actually
go.
pretty close to last time. I think last time we gave it a 4.5 style and 2.4 for overall enjoyment. Overall enjoyment came up a little bit, but
That's
I
right.
think
Well,
it's-
Yeah, well, I personally went up. I think I went up from a 1 to a 3, right? So I bumped it up as well.
You're both scum.
it was your-
Well, to be fair, Ashley's drank 12 of them today, so that would,
Yeah.
if I drank 12,
No,
maybe I'd have
no,
really
not
strong.
12. I've had 7.
Oh, okay.
That makes it way
You gave it
better.
a 5 and a 1 before, Ash, and you
Or-
gave it a 5 and a 3 this time.
I got 4 left, I think.
You can't listen to Ash
I
anymore.
bumped it up a little bit.
He's suffering
this
from
offset
Stockholm
grid.
syndrome.
I like how you can tell like Nick's become lazy. Like if you look at the original scores in that notepad thing he had, everybody's names were capitalized. Now he can't even be bothered.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow. Carrie is calling Nick out.
I don't even know.
Yeah, but this is actually I wrote all this earlier today.
Weird
so
shit
it's-
like that
it was
just jumps out at me,
being
man. I
getting
don't know.
lazier progressively as the day goes on.
Wow.
Well, maybe you should just work for the FBI and search for like serial killers or something, Redbeard.
I was like, really? I was like, now I'm also disheartened that nobody actually watched.
If
This
you can catch
episode.
serial
The
killers by
entire
their
fucking
by their
episode.
spelling and grammar mistakes, yeah,
Fucking
man, that'd be cool.
Google algorithm bullshit.
There's
Don't
an
worry.
algorithm.
Yeah, it's purely the algorithm's fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Nick. I'm sure we'll get like 4 viewers after.
We'll have
the
more
next-
viewers like
I
next
mean-
week when we.
I
do
mean, if we just literally said we have Lady Lee on the show and then Manly showed up in a wig, we'd have like twice as many viewers.
You know what? We had Lady Lee on last week, and we had just viewers.
Well, we then you know what? It's Lady Lee's fault. We need to get her to up her game.
Yeah, she doesn't move the needle anymore. We gotta.
Yeah.
Shut up.
we gotta-
Mike.
we
It's
gotta
like
change
people have
those up.
gotten used to seeing girls on the internet.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, it's just Lee. Alrighty. I think now I think it's high time to take this shit offline. So
Cheers.
all right, I want to thank everybody
High tide
who
and
watches the replay. So yeah. All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
You is to do what your parents did. Get a
Penis.
job, sir.